Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Look, Wrestling 101, classes in session. Pay attention to the teachings, that's from Andrew and Derek. I mean, these guys making a killing with no competition. Dynamic duo better than the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. Everybody make some noise, mess with them, you get destroyed. They cannot be beat, take a seat. Watch them do their thing on the MIC. Face defeat, they cannot be seen like JC. Oh my goodness, it's a killing spree.
Boy Daltano here, and you're listening to Wrestling IQ 101. Have a dill day.
Hey everyone, this is Andrew from Wrestling IQ 101. When I'm not hosting our podcast, I'm usually at collarandelbowbrand.com. That's right, Collar and Elbow is the only place that combines wrestling with street attire. And I know what you're thinking, I want to look fashionable too, and I also want to save 10%. So head over to collarandelbowbrand.com and use the promo code WIQ101 and look fashionable and save some money. And now, on with the show. Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Wrestling IQ 101. I'm Andrew, and you can listen to Wrestling IQ 101 right here on YouTube. You can check out past episodes, new episodes like this one, and future episodes like the ones that will be coming out later. And you can follow Wrestling IQ 101 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wrestling IQ 101. And today I'm sitting with Amy Crimson. How's it going?
What's up, Crimson Squad? What's up? I'm awesome. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I mean, it's been a crazy wild ride the last couple of months, right? With COVID, and now you're gonna get back in the ring soon, right? Hopefully.
With Canada, I don't know.
Okay.
To be honest, we haven't been able to wrestle since like March of 2020, so that was my last match. So like this reopening plan, like it basically depends on how many people are vaccinated. So like it basically depends if they're gonna be opening up gyms, because gyms aren't even open yet.
Oh wow! So yeah, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, it does something to your mind, right? But it also gets you like a new perspective, because you're like, wow, I really missed this and I really want to do this, right?
See, when I do get to go back in the gym, like I don't think I'm ever going to take days off ever again. Like I don't think I'm ever going to take it for granted. It is a new perspective kind of thing. You always have to think of like creative ways how to lose weight and how to like replicate the machines at the gym kind of thing. So like you're basically trying your hardest to try and lose weight while trying to keep your sanity at the same time without the gym.
Yeah, and it must be hard not wrestling, but you know, have you had a chance to really sit down, study, find new ways to practice some of these wrestling maneuvers?
Practicing, no, but sitting down and watching this whole pandemic, all I've been doing is watching wrestling and doing wrestling study and trying to see what kind of new moves I can incorporate when I come back, and basically trying to work on like the aspects that aren't the physical parts, so like my character, and basically kind of like branching off with my brand kind of thing to try and build my character. So what I can do to change it, like either if I have like say like a catchphrase or like new gear or like basically like promo work and stuff like that's what I've been basically focusing on until I can get back into the ring.
Yeah. What have you been watching? I mean, have you been watching AEW? Have you been watching old WWE? Or what's been on the watch list?
So I actually sat down and watched all of 2004 Raw. I'm currently watching all of 2005 Raw. Oh, wow. So I'm mostly just like an old WWE kind of person. Yeah. Like that's what I go to when I watch. Because majority of like my inspirations come from the WWE. So I'm just sitting down and watching like what made them as like characters and stuff. So like I'm basically just like an old WWE guy. I just watch old wrestling kind of thing.
I love old Raw from like 2004, 2005. Evolution was my jam. Taboo Tuesday. I mean, that's just awesome. So you're watching 2005 Raw. Who's your favorite person to watch? Because there's like Trish Stratus on that roster. There's like Mickie James comes in around that kind of time. I mean, there's so many people on that roster.
So right now, I'm in March of 2005. So sadly, I haven't like when 2005 hit and it was the Ruthless Aggression era. I wasn't old enough to watch it because I'm a '98 baby, and I watched wrestling back in. I think I started watching it back in 2007. Okay. So I'm only watching it for the first time.
Oh, wow.
what I can see is, like, there's Trish Stratus. You have Christy Hemming, who's up there, who won the Diva Search. And then you have Lita. Gail Kim is gone. And then you have Victoria. Yeah. So the women's division isn't that big right now. And then you also have Molly Holly. So what I'm watching, it's basically just, like, the same women. But right now, like, Victoria and Trish Stratus were, like, my favorites of that kind of era, and Lita. And then eventually, like, later on, you're going to get Melina and Mickie James and the other women's wrestlers. But for that era, it was Trish Stratus, Victoria, and Lita for me. Yeah,
I love Trish Stratus and Victoria. I actually got to meet both ladies, but I saw them wrestle at Madison Square Garden. Trish and Victoria, it was crazy. They had like a street fight. It was one of the best women's matches I've ever seen. Best matches at all that I've ever seen. It was crazy. Yeah. You know, and it's crazy because you've been in battle royals, you've been in triple threat matches, tag team matches, singles matches. You have a favorite type of matchup that you like to be in?
So the only match type I was in was either the battle royal or it was a battle rumble. So like our battle arts take on the Royal Rumble. So when I first started, so this was like, I was a couple months in, it was my first year in wrestling, and I was the only girl in the battle rumble with like at least like 30 other guys. And just watching Royal Rumbles as a kid and being a part of one, like even if it wasn't the WWE Royal Rumble, just being a part of one was interesting to me. But one of my favorite match types I would honestly love to be a part of is either a ladder match or a Hell in a Cell match. Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and it's crazy because, like, you know, those things just go flying ladders and the chairs. I mean, man, I mean, that's crazy that you want to do that, but I give you a lot of props. I mean, I'm sure you can beat up a couple of the girls pretty well. You know, and it's been pretty cool because, I mean, you know, you talked about Balcro Pro. I mean, Santino Marella, people know him. He owns it, right? He's the trainer?
So Santino Marella, aka Anthony Corelli, he is a sensei, so he's actually my judo sensei, and he's also my professional wrestling coach. He owns the gym, so it's basically like a martial arts dojo and a professional wrestling school as well, so we're able to cross-train as well as a gym. So it's pretty cool kind of thing.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I mean, and plus, I mean, he has so much personality. I mean, that's a guy you could always, like, go to, right? And just be like, how did you connect so well with the audience? Because he can do comedy. He was doing some serious stuff. I mean, he could switch on and off. I mean, I remember in the Royal Rumble, people were like, "Oh, this is a joke," but he was inches away of winning.
Honestly, the fun-loving guy that you see on TV is literally Santino in real life, aka Anthony. Like, it's just like his personality and like his fun-loving character is what makes battle arts like what it is, and like a family aspect kind of thing. So whatever you see on TV is literally what Anthony is in person.
Yeah, it's awesome because it resonates on the TV so well. And it's been pretty cool because before you mentioned that you started watching wrestling in 2007, what actually got you into wrestling? Was it like a friend or did you just come across it?
So I actually started watching wrestling with my younger brother. My dad and my uncle, they actually introduced me to wrestling because my dad was a huge fan of wrestling. My uncle on my dad's side was a huge fan. Even like my mom's brothers, like my other uncles on my mom's side were huge fans of wrestling, and my cousins were huge fans of wrestling. So my dad's like, okay, let's see if like they'll like it. So we tuned into ECW in 2007. I believe it was MVP versus CM Punk. And after that, I was hooked. We watched SmackDown, and I saw The Undertaker come out. And then as an 8-year-old, watching it back in 2007, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. So, like, ever since I was 8 years old, watching it, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do for a living. So that's what made me hooked into wrestling. And then the character work as well, and seeing, like, all the different characters and all the wrestling and all the cool match types, like, just made me hooked for it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, have you had a chance to see The Undertaker live?
No. So my first actual live event as a fan going was back in 2010. So I was fortunate enough to see the Nexus, and I was fortunate enough to see Chris Jericho and Edge, but I've never actually saw The Undertaker wrestle live.
Oh, wow, yeah. I mean, growing up in New Jersey, I mean, I'm literally an hour away from New York. I've got to see so many of the big stars. And that leads me to my next question, actually, because I saw a dream match. I don't know if you posted or somebody else did, but it was you versus Becky Lynch. I mean, how awesome would that be?
Honestly, that would be so cool. Just like her wrestling style, like that, because she's such like a technical wrestler, and because I've been trained in Japanese strong style from Toy, like that would be so cool. And like my other dream match that I would love to have would be with Asuka, because fun fact, her trainer Toy, Yuki Izakawa, Kazuha, I think I just like butchered his name, but like all love there. He actually trained us at Battle Arts for a bit until he went back to Japan. So to have a dream match with Asuka would be amazing for me.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, I mean that'd be awesome. It's kind of like full circle, right? I mean, you know, bringing it back to her trainer, your trainer, and that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing I thought was pretty interesting. I mean, I was listening to another podcast of you. You've been actually going out and trying to do other podcasts and trying to get your name out there. What inspired the hustle?
When you can't even get into the ring to try and like promote yourself as much as possible, any kind of exposure is going to help with your brand kind of thing.
Yeah.
It sucks not being able to wrestle for almost a year and a half. So at first when the pandemic started, I was a little sad. I was down, and I came across like my coach, and I messaged him like a couple months after the pandemic, so like a year in, and I asked my coach, and I'm like, how do I keep relevant while this pandemic happens, because you can't wrestle. And if you don't wrestle, your character, especially if you're not known, especially if you don't wrestle in WWE or AEW, people aren't going to know who you are, and you're just going to be left in the dust kind of thing. So he told me, try to make sure that your name is out there, try to get exposure, try to do promos, try to get on as many podcasts as possible. So I tried to hustle as much as possible to try and get my name known and try to get on as many podcasts as possible, because right now this is the only wrestling related kind of thing I have. So that basically was the hustle, to try and build my brand before I can get back into the ring, so that my brand is at least a bit more established by the time I get back in the ring kind of thing.
Sure. Do you feel like you're gaining more like confidence with promos and character?
Oh, for sure. Like when I first started, I was the shy like 19-year-old that was basically the type of person that wouldn't want to talk to nobody and would be quiet. So Matt Bradley was my acting coach, and we had promo class like every Wednesday. And I went from the shy nobody like to this kid that didn't even have a character to like this gangster kind of street thug character, which like made me more confident more times that I did a promo kind of thing. So like being somebody that I'm not used to actually built my confidence more, and like it made me feel like, okay, I'm not this shy innocent kid anymore, like I'm actually this person that people actually look up to kind of thing. So it was cool that way.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. You know, I've actually never been to Canada, but I know there's like all dressing chips, right? And ketchup chips, right? I mean, what exactly is all dressing?
So all dressing chips is actually all the flavors.
Oh, wow.
Mixed into one. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's what it is. I lived in Canada all my life, and I guess that's what all dressing chips meant. I always thought that. So if I'm wrong, comment down below if I'm actually wrong, but that's what all dressing chips are to me, I guess.
Yeah, I never actually had either one of those, but it's funny because there's something that we've stolen over here, and that's like the disco fries with the cheese and the gravy.
Poutine.
Yeah, poutine. Yeah, that stuff is like so good.
You know the funny thing, I'm Canadian, but like poutine's not like my favorite thing.
Oh,
like
really?
If there's poutine, I'm like, oh cool, poutine. But like, it's.
So what's your go-to thing? What's your favorite food?
I like tacos.
Tacos
and anything like spicy and stuff like that.
Oh wow, that's kind of crazy. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's always fun because I always ask people like, where do they have to stop? What's the one thing they have to get after like a wrestling match? Do you have like something like that? Do you have like a ritual that you need to go like this place? Because a lot of places aren't open when you're done wrestling, right?
So by the time that we finish, what I remember is like, because after setup is all done and we clean up, it's around like, and after Anthony stops talking, like basically giving us a pep talk and reviewing the whole show, it's usually after like either 12 o'clock or before then. So like either like you go to like a sit down restaurant or you can go to fast food. I mostly try to go to a sit-down restaurant with like my family or my boyfriend kind of thing, because as a wrestler you have to make sure that like whatever you're eating is like substantial enough and like it's not bad for you kind of thing, because we have to look about like our bodies and like our physiques kind of thing. So I try not to eat as much as that fast food stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's pretty cool. And that's awesome that you're really taking that to heart and really watching what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, do you have like a favorite show or a favorite movie like at all?
So my favorite movie of all time is White Chicks.
Oh,
that
really?
movie was so funny growing up. Like I can probably, that or Mean Girls. Those two movies I could probably quote the most famous like lines of all, like by heart kind of thing.
When he's in the car and he just starts breaking out in song, that is like the funniest thing ever.
See, that's why 1,000 Miles is my favorite song from Vanessa Carlton, because of that movie kind of thing.
So that's pretty good. You have a nice sense of humor, but it's so weird because watching you in the ring, you're all business. So it's kind of cool that I'm seeing both sides. You got the comedy here in White Chicks, and then I got to watch you before, and you were kicking some butt.
Oh, thank you.
So, I've never been to Canada. I don't know how bad the streets really are, but are they bad?
So funny story. So I'm just going to explain how I got the gimmick kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when I first started wrestling, I was basically like a psychotic kind of character. I was in a tag team with another fellow wrestler from Battle Arts, Brooklyn. So Anthony decided, okay, you're fresh, you're new, I'm going to pair you up with somebody. So I started doing tag team matches when I first started. After that, I started to get used to it, and I felt like I was just like on the sidelines, and like I didn't feel like the character was enough for me where I could like expand to it kind of thing. So what happened is that Anthony heard me talking in slang. So if you ever heard anybody from Toronto, we have a thing where we have some type of slang kind of thing. So Anthony heard me talking to one of my friends that grew up in the same like city as me, Malton. So Malton, Mississauga. And he's like, wait a second, talk in your slang. And I'm like, okay. So I just said, I'm like, what's up, fam, dog, wagwan. And then he was like, oh my God, that's it. You're gangster. That's your character. He's like, you could say you're from the streets of Malton. And just, at first I was like, okay, this is like weird. But then when I started doing it, it just clicked. And like, he said my personality went with it kind of thing. And that's where we are now kind of thing. So that's how it all started.
Okay. Is Malton like, is it like a bad neighborhood though? Like, is there still like a nice part of like Canada?
Like, there's nice parts in Malton, but there's some parts where at night you have to be careful where you go kind of thing. But it's not like if you walk outside, like, you'll get shot kind of thing. It's not like that. It's like, it's an okay, quiet neighborhood, but sometimes there's, like, riff-raff kind of thing. And, like, it's just, like, there's things that you have to be careful with kind of thing, just like all neighborhoods.
Yeah. I feel like Canada, like, the people will still be pretty polite, though. Is that... Because I feel like you guys are very nice, and I love that. I love that about you guys. Did you grow up watching hockey?
So I did grow up watching some hockey because my dad's a huge Toronto Maple Leafs fan.
Okay.
I kind of like stopped watching it as I grew older. But hockey is one of the major things in Canada.
Yeah, I know. It's like one of the biggest. Yeah, it is one of the biggest things, and it's awesome because I love watching hockey out here. My team's the New Jersey Devils, and whenever I get a chance to, I love going out there to watch.
Yeah. See, I've never been to a hockey game.
You never been to a hockey game?
No.
Oh my God. Oh,
I know, it's like the most Canadian thing. You've never been to a hockey game?
Have you been to a baseball game?
Yes, I've been to multiple baseball games.
Okay. Do you like other sports outside of wrestling?
I mostly like the other sports that I usually just watch is probably like if I sit down, like maybe soccer. But I'm mostly just like a wrestling and martial arts kind of person. Yeah. So like, that's it kind of thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And also, you got to be in the ring with Panda Power. I mean, how did that happen?
Yeah, so I basically, in November of 2019 is when I won the Battle Arts Women's Championship. So fast forward to February, it was an all-women's pay-per-view, Revolution. And Novia, a major wrestler, love her, she's so nice. She was supposed to be in the match, but last minute she couldn't make it. So the promoter messaged me and said, hey, you're a Battle Arts Women's Champion. Would you like to main event in a tag team match? You'll be tagging with Allysin Kay versus Panda Power, Casey Spinelli and Rebel. So basically, I think it was like 3 days before the event. So I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. But mind you, I was the youngest going into that match. Yeah. And the greenest. They were awesome. They were so nice. They gave me so much advice, and the match was awesome. Like, it was a great experience. But honestly, I was literally going to shit my pants going into that match. It was so scary, especially being only 21 years old and everyone being such like veterans. It was so scary, but so awesome at the same time. Yeah,
I mean, you held your own like really well. I mean, it was really impressive. And it was such a great tag team match. I'm like, and you know, Allysin Kay, she's such a sweetheart. You know, I got to meet her.
Yeah, for sure.
and so is Rebel. I mean, Rebel's like, I got to meet her too. She's like the coolest girl like on the planet. So you're in good hands with those two. And Casey's also, she's a tremendous wrestler.
Yeah, like they were awesome. Like they were like, oh, you're so cute, and they can't believe that I was like so like young. Because mind you, going into that match, I believe I was only like not even 2 years in to wrestling.
Wow.
Yeah. So the fact that they took me under their wing was amazing, and the fact that they basically gave me advice after was just even more awesome. Like, they were just awesome people to work with. And then after that match, mind you, I didn't get to wrestle a lot after that match because it was from, I believe, February, so March was my last match, and because of COVID. But after that match, my last match that I had, March 2020, I gained so much confidence because in my head I was like, okay, I just main evented with 3 major wrestling icons in the indies, and now I can do anything. Like, I don't have to be scared anymore kind of thing. So it literally built my confidence. So it was an awesome experience, and I'm glad I got to be a part of it kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, I know you mentioned before you're a WWE girl, but do you want to just get signed to go anywhere, or is WWE the main goal in Wrestlemania?
Well, WWE is the main goal, and wrestling at Wrestlemania is, like, the end-all, be-all kind of thing. Like, that's when I know I'll make it. But I wouldn't be attached to, like, working for AEW or working for Impact. Like, I know I got to build my way up kind of thing. It's not like I don't watch any of those products. It's just I've always been a WWE person, so that's always what I tend to. But I wouldn't be attached to watching anything else. Like, I would love to get signed to any of the major promotions. Like, that's one of the goals kind of thing. Just to get paid to wrestle is a goal for me.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely awesome. You get to travel the world. I mean, where are some places that you want to wrestle? I mean, do you want to go to Japan? Do you want to go to New York? I mean, California? Is there a bucket list of places that you want to wrestle?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I always wanted to go back to Japan to finish training with Toy. Because he actually has a Battle Arts Academy in Japan. So that's a bucket list, to wrestle, train in Japan, to wrestle in the UK, to wrestle in Mexico, Germany, all of Europe, to try and get booked in the States. Like, that would be awesome. Like, my goal is to at least make Amy Crimson, like, homegrown, where, like, if you hear my name, you know, okay, I know who she is. Like, she's awesome kind of thing. So to wrestle in multiple countries and multiple states and stuff, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and that's one of the coolest things about this podcast, because I get to talk to you. I've gotten to talk to people in Israel, and you just kind of connect in this big world and making it even smaller. And yeah, I can't wait to see your brand reach out and do the same thing. And
hopefully, awesome. That's the goal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think you're on your way. I think this is a pretty good start. I mean, you know, especially with the pandemic. I mean, you're getting out there doing the podcast. I mean, you said you've grown, so it's pretty exciting to hear. And you. I mean, just talking to you now, I mean, you can hear how vibrant and ready you are to get back into the ring and get back into kicking some ass.
Oh, for sure. I'm just dreading the first bump when I come back. I know that's going to suck.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? I mean, you'll have to dish it out to that person just as much. So maybe it'll probably even out, right? So.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, I mean, let's get serious for a second. I mean, when you won the Battle Pro Women's Championship, I mean, what an emotional time that must have been for you.
So when I first started, like, it was my goal to, like, be a champion and, like, to basically, like, it wasn't a main event, but to be on the top tier of the women's division. Mm-hmm. So I started wrestling because of my uncle, and then a couple months, I believe April of 2018 mm-hmm. or 19, he sadly passed away.
Oh, sorry.
So winning that title meant the world to me because I did it for my uncle, kind of thing. So the tears that you see, and like if you watch the match and you see me look up, like I'm literally dedicating it to my uncle, kind of thing. So like the fact that I was able to do that for him was like priceless, kind of thing. And honestly, winning the title after all the hard work of months of busting your butt and like working out in the gym and getting better and training so hard, it was so worth like all the sacrifices I had to make for that moment. It was just like a priceless moment that will live on forever, kind of thing, in my mind and for the rest of my life, kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, being a WWE fan, did you tell them like, hey, I want a spinner belt?
No, I actually didn't say the spinner belt. I was actually kind of scared because I didn't want to be like, okay, I made you champion. Don't ask for too much now. Kind of thing.
Oh, man.
But
and go with the character, right? I mean, the persona.
Well, yeah, but I don't think we have the budget to customize championships like every like other 9 months or so. So I was just like, okay, you made me champion. That's good enough. I'll just take it.
Oh man, that's awesome. You should have been like Shane Douglas and throw the title and be like, I'm taking the spinner belt. That would have been hilarious. But no, that's awesome that you won and that you dedicated that to your uncle. I mean, that just sounds like an emotional roller coaster because, I mean, just how the fact that, you really did this. I mean, you became champion and what a crazy ride, right?
Well, like for months after like my uncle died, so like I won in November of I believe it was 2019. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my uncle died in April. So months I wasn't feeling the same. Like I wasn't as training as hard and everything. And then like one of my fellow like battle arts people like talked to me and was like, okay, you have to do this for your uncle. Like if you give up now, it's not going to be worth anything, kind of thing. So that basically lit a fire under my ass and was like, okay, I have to do this for my uncle, kind of thing. So winning it for my uncle made everything better. It basically made me feel like, okay, there is a purpose for this. There is a reason why I'm doing this. Like, so it was everything that I did in the ring, and I still do, is for my uncle. So like hopefully I can make it to WWE for him,
Sure. And yeah, I hope so too. I mean, that'd be a great story. And it's awesome because you're really on your way. I mean, if it wasn't for this pandemic, I mean, I think you'd be so much further along. But hopefully everything will resume shortly for you.
Hopefully, that's the goal.
Yeah. I mean, have you thought about doing commentary, like, for matches? I mean, have you thought about the future, like, after wrestling? Like, being a manager and stuff like that?
I actually was, like, thinking, like, I actually wanted to ask Anthony if, like, there was some type of thing that I could do commentary in my character to try and help my character. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be attest to it. Like, I would actually, like, want to, like, if, say, like, I can't wrestle anymore, like, I would love to do, like, either character work, be behind the scenes, and, like, just have, like, a different aspect of, like, the types of things that goes on in wrestling kind of thing. Because if I have the opportunity to be a wrestler already, like, I could basically try do commentary. I can also try to be, like, a backstage person with either sound or music or, like, executive kind of thing. So, like, I wouldn't be attest to it. I feel like it would be cool because, like, without them, you wouldn't have the whole, like, spectacle that what is like WWE kind of thing. So I mean, that would be awesome to try.
Sure. And they always say like the best thing is the connection with the fans. Do you see yourself being a hero to the fans, or do you rather be a villain? Because some people like to be both.
I mean, you could take it as like me, because like my character is basically like me, but like times 10. So when you see me as a babyface, that's me. It's like literally like 10 times. But when I'm a heel, it's like when I can basically like come out of my shell and like basically become like that bad like kind of guy kind of thing. honestly, I love like interacting with fans and hearing their stories and being able to be an inspiration. And like, obviously, I hope that one day a girl either is watching this or sees me wrestle and is inspired by me. Like, that would be awesome. But being a heel with my character, I feel like it's more natural to me. I don't know how to explain it. It helps me to build more confidence, and it just brings me out of my shell, and I could be like a person that I'm not actually in real life, kind of thing.
Yeah. You know, and there's so many amazing women on the indie scene. Do you have a certain one that you're eyeing up when everything reopens? Do you have a certain match that you want to just kick off with somebody?
I know I had a tag team match with Allysin Kay, but I would love to have a singles match with either Allysin Kay, Casey Spinelli, even Rebel, or even Masha Slamovich. Those would be awesome. I'm thinking also just mostly the majority of like the indie women. Like, I want to get my name out there. Like, I want to try and wrestle as many like women as possible. That's mostly the goal. Hopefully COVID will stop so I can, but until then, I can always try hard and like work my way up, kind of thing.
Yeah. I feel pretty bad for your first opponent, because I mean, you sound motivated, and I'm lucky. I'm lucky I get to do this, not actually get in the ring. So I'm excited. And when you do, I mean, I want to see the matchup. So I'm excited. So
well, especially once I start wrestling again, I'm definitely going to be posting on my YouTube channel, because I haven't posted since March 2020. So definitely you'd be able to see the match. I'd probably post it on YouTube.
Yeah, that's where I did some of my research. I mean, there's some great stuff on that page. So if you're a real wrestling fan and you want to check out Amy, head over to YouTube, because there's some incredible matches. I mean, there's like an entrance video on there too. I mean, you got a lot of cool stuff on there.
Honestly, I wouldn't be where I'm at without Anthony or Toy and like my acting coaches. Like, they're the ones that brought me out of my shell, kind of thing. So without them, Amy Crimson wouldn't be, basically.
Yeah, well, I'm glad Amy Crimson is existing, and she's kicking ass, and I mean, you're kicking ass, and you know, you're taking championship belts, and I know you can't wait to regain that championship belt. I mean, it must be eating at you.
It's just, it sucks because like I wasn't able to like fight, like defend my title due to COVID. So it's like, just to relinquish it and not to actually lose it. It's just like, it eats me alive, where like I just want to wrestle and like reclaim it, and like, it's just, it sucks.
Yeah, but you know what? Once you regain that title, you know, you're going to be walking around with your head held high, and you're going to be like, come get me. And I can't wait to see how many women actually step up, and how many people want this title, because they're gonna have a big challenge with you. So I think
Thank you.
Yeah, and I can't wait, because you know, like what you said Hell in a Cell matches, ladder matches. I mean, steel cage. I mean, I can't wait to see what you do the second time around, and it's really exciting. I'm really excited.
Well, I mean, it's a different time for women in wrestling. Like, we're not doing like those bras and panty matches anymore. Like, we're actually getting in the ring and fighting. So it's like, it's exhilarating to be like a women's wrestler at this time. You just get so many opportunities to basically break boundaries, and it's awesome. Kind of thing. Yeah,
it is, right? I mean, I'm just thinking about like Bayley and Sasha and Charlotte. I mean, those three women, and Becky. I mean, I was there at WrestleMania 35. I mean, Becky Lynch, I mean, she won the title. I mean, she made an event at a WrestleMania with Ronda Rousey. Like, that's crazy. Right?
Ronda Rousey is actually like one of my inspirations as well, because she trains, like, she's a black belt in judo, and before I started wrestling, I started judo. So like the fact that Ronda Rousey is breaking boundaries in WWE as like a judo specialist is awesome. Like, it's an inspiration to me, because I do judo as well. So to see women break boundaries like that, it's just awesome to be in the business today. Kind of thing.
When you were doing judo, did you know in the back of your mind this was going to translate to wrestling, or did you just kind of fall into that by accident?
So I started back in Battle Arts in 2018, and Anthony saw me, and I first started as a professional wrestler. And Anthony told me, I'm just going to be saying Anthony, but he's Santino Marella. He basically told me to get better in professional wrestling, you should cross-train. So he introduced me to judo, because he was basically training everybody in judo. So he was our sensei. And he told me, if you want to get better in professional wrestling and you want to become an athlete, cross-train in judo. So I basically cross-trained in judo while I was doing professional wrestling at the same time. And in that time frame, I gained my green belt. If it wasn't for COVID, I probably would have got my blue belt. But it also did help me. If you watch some of my matches, you could see that I incorporate some of the judo throws in my matches. So overall, it did help me to become like a better athlete and to help my stance kind of thing. So without judo, I wouldn't be, I guess, as good as a wrestler as I should be kind of thing.
Yeah. And my last question is, I usually ask people this because usually it's fun to end on a good note. But do you have any good rips that either happened to you or happened to somebody else, or maybe you've seen or you pulled on somebody?
I actually never had a rip towards me, or I never did anything to myself or anything like that kind of thing. The only funny thing that really happened to me was while I was on the road. There's this promotion in Toronto, owned by Andrew McRae. It's called Wrestle Junction. So we're all driving and we're road tripping it, and the guy that was driving had to go to the dollar store. So we all pretended to be his kids. So we were walking in the dollar store, and we were super kicking each other and basically fake wrestling and selling each other's moves and everything. And this old Italian man walks into the aisle, and he's like, "Madonna, what the hell is wrong with you people?" And we all look at him, and then the guy, he's like, "Sorry, my kids are crazy. I can't take them anywhere." So that was one of my funniest moments on the road kind of thing. So that's the best I could tell you.
And I have one last question though. All-time favorite Canadian wrestler, who is it?
Is it bad that I have a couple?
No, because there's Canada produces some of the greatest wrestlers in the world.
So my favorite Canadian wrestlers all time for women is Trish Stratus. For men, it's Edge and Chris Jericho.
Oh, wow. Yeah, good. It's a pretty good list. I thought you were going to say Brett. I thought you were going to throw him in there.
See, the thing is that I was I'm a 98 baby. So I didn't grow up on basically the early 90s and the Attitude Era. So now that I watch his stuff, but I mostly grew up on Edge, Jericho, and Trish Stratus kind of thing and their work. So that's who I kind of idolize. I'm not saying Bret Hart isn't a good wrestler, because he's awesome. He's an amazing technical wrestler, mat wrestler. He's awesome, and I love his work. But for the people that I grew up on and I idolize, those are the guys that I idolize as Canadian wrestlers.
What about Captain Charisma, Christian?
See, I used to like Christian, but he was mostly, when I grew up, he was mostly the bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
So as a kid, you don't really idolize the bad guys. I know Edge turned heel back in 2004, but at the same time, when I grew up watching it, he was one of the major guys in the company at the time. Yeah. Same with Chris Jericho, so that's why I idolized them.
Yeah, when Trish slapped Jericho at WrestleMania 20, I was like, wow, Christian's the luckiest guy in the world. He got to leave with Trish. I was like, when she became became a bad, when they aligned them with each other, I was like, holy wow, this is amazing, because I love Trish and I love Christian. I was like, and I was really jealous of Christian. But Amy, this has been fun chatting with you. I hope we get to do it again, and hopefully next time we get to do it, you'll be in the ring. Hopefully you'll be the women's champion at Battle Bro, and everywhere else you go, you'll just be racking up gold, and I can't wait. So where can people get you on social media if they want to connect with you and see where you're going to be soon, hopefully?
Okay, so all my social medias are majority the same. So if you want to see me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, it's Amy. My handle is Amy Crimson XOXO. And if you guys want to check out any of my matches, majority of them are up. Or if you guys want to check out any of the podcasts, all you have to do is search up Amy Crimson, and majority of my stuff should pop up. And yeah, and if I have a Facebook page. If you guys want to check it out, it's Amy Crimson. If you guys want to follow, so I'm basically basic, but that's everything.
Yeah, well, it's nice and easy for the fans, and plus you're gonna want to go check that stuff out, because hopefully everything will be ending soon, like we said, and she'll be back in the ring. And until then, you have some matches to hold you over, and there are some incredible matches. So I have to give you that.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. And for us, this has been Wrestling IQ 101. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wrestling IQ 101. We kept it simple too. And also, you can like us right here on YouTube, subscribe. You can check out old videos. You can check out current videos like this one and even future videos as they come out. And Amy, thanks again for taking out the time. And everybody else, we'll see you very soon.